Greetings to the session chair, distinguished guests, and fellow participants of KLISEE 2025. My name is Guan, and today I am representing my research team from the Faculty of Accountancy and Management and Universiti Tunku Abdul Rahman, together with A.A. Kin, Tipik Link, and Raymond Ling Lebin. And we are presenting our research titled Demographic Factors and the Intention to Engage in Financial Planning through Artificial Intelligence in Malaysia. So in simple words, we would like to know what are the demographic factors that will affect the intentions of people to adopt AI for their financial planning. So here is the 5 parts, and we will start with the introduction first. So what is financial planning? Financial planning is a comprehensive system that made up of different specific plans to manage money effectively for both present and the future. So in short words, it is about covering your bases from daily spending to future security. So in Malaysia context, in Malaysia, they used to have exclusive financial planning, which requires high barriers, high costs, and highly rely on human intermediaries. So this issue appeared because they miss out the mass market such as the B40 and M40. So B40 stands for the bottom 40% of income in Malaysia, and M40 is the middle 40%, which excluded from the professional financial guidance because they require a minimum asset requirements. But however, as technology advancements, they start to move into inclusive, which introduce the intelligent automations of complex cognitive tasks such as robo-advisors and democratizations, which is so-called FinTech 4.0, which is to leverage machine learning to provide personalized investment strategies at a fraction of the cost of human advisors. Also, the government of Malaysia also put efforts. So in 2017, they introduced the Digital Investment Management DIM, and also a Shared Prosperity Visions 2030, which is to achieve a sustainable economic growth along with fair, equitable, and inclusive economy. But however, as we know that financial planning adoption of AI is not only depends on cost, it is only mediated by the psychological and demographic factors. So the term intention to engage, which is influenced by trust, risk, and the individual's social demographic profile. So now here is the macro paradox that appeared. This stated from the Department of Statistics Malaysia in 2025. They say that in 2024, 96.6% of business they use computers, and this contributes to 23.4% of the GDP in Malaysia. And also, there are 92% of people use digital payments in Malaysia, such as e-wallets, Maybank apps, Touch and Go e-wallets. But the adoption of AI advisory tools, they didn't match significantly with the users of the digital payments. And here is our problem statements, which is the first, the advice gap, which is, I stated just now, is a professional financial guidance remains excluded the B40 and M40 groups and living without the affordable access. And then the second one is the digital paradox, which most of the youngs in Malaysia, they are digital native, but they face a disconnection with financial literacy. They didn't adopt digital to manage their financial. So this may lead them into a scam vulnerability and also a high debt trap. And the third one is the demographic fault lines, because the current strategies, they treat the market as a monolith. They didn't consider like the trust or maybe the other demographic factors such as age, gender, and income will affect their intentions to adopt AI for their financial planning. And here are the research gap that we found from the study, which is the first one, empirical gap. It is insufficient evidence showing that which specific demographic factors will predict AI intention in Malaysia. And also the second one, theoretical gap, which shows that how the demographics will change the strength of the relationships between the attitude and the intention. Then lastly, methodological gap, which is there is no comparative evidence exists to determine which econometric model, such as LPM, Logit, Probit, or Torbit, to predict the binary AI adoption intention, especially in Malaysia. So these are the gaps we are trying to fill this, and we have put it in our general objective, which is to investigate the relationships of demographic factors and intention to engage financial planners through artificial intelligence by using qualitative response regression model. And below one are the 3 specific objectives that we will further discuss later. All right, and here is our literature review. So in our study, we will adopt 3 theories, which are technology acceptance model, first one, TAM, theory of planned behavior model, TPB, and also the unified theory of acceptance, use of technology, UTAR 2 models. All right, and then here is our literature review, our empirical review. We can see that in this study, we are adopting 5 demographic factors, which are age, income, educations, gender, and occupations. And our dependent variable will be the intention to engage financial planner through artificial intelligence. All right, here is our model specifications. So the first one, linear probability model. Linear probability model is used when the dependent variable is from 0 to 1, which is from 0 to 100%. All right. And then for the second one, logic model, which is to ensure it is fixed for the dependent variable between 0 to 1. Because the LPM, some of the dependent variable may exceed the 1 or maybe below 0. But for logic model, they will ensure that every dependent variable is fixed between 0 to 1. And for the third model, which is the Probit model, it is similar with logic model, but they are using normal distributions. Rather than logic, they are using logistic distribution. And for Torbit model, which is the Torbin's Probit sensor regression model, the fourth one, it is used when dependent variable is censored or maybe limited at certain value, commonly cannot go below 0 or cannot go above a certain value. And the next one will be our data collection. And here is our sampling design. So our study, we target the working adults which age between 21 to 60 in Klang Valley. And the method we use is quota sampling, which is non-probability. And we are targeting 200 to 300 respondents of working adults in Klang Valley. And finally, we got 223 respondents. The fourth is we collect online via Google Form, but we also approach the respondents physically. And also here is our variable measurements, which our dependent variable, our mediating variable attitude, our demographic variable age, income, and educations. 5 of them are ordinal, and the rest, gender and occupations, they are nominal. And here is our research method, which are the tests we are used to analyze our study. And I will explain it one by one further. Let's start with our descriptive analysis for our demographic profile. So for the descriptive analysis, we can see that the mean, they are quite aligned with the median for age, income, education, gender, and occupations. Like 2 is age, income is 3, education is 3, gender is 2, and occupation is 2. So we can say that since the mean and median, they are quite aligned, it is symmetrical. And this is supported by our skewness. We can see that most of our skewness are lie between negative 0.5 to positive 0.5. And for this descriptive analysis, it is aligned with our research objective 2, which is to estimate the moderating effects of demographic factors and Malaysian individuals' intention to engage AI-driven financial planners. All right, then we move to our second analysis, which is frequency analysis. So the first one, age, we can see that the largest proportion is 35.4%, which is lie between age 18 to 25. And the second one, income, the largest proportion is the people who earn less than or equal 3,000 ringgit per month. And for educations, we can see that most of our respondents are bachelor's degree, professional certification. And for gender, we can see that most of our respondents are female, but in general, they are quite even. And for occupations, most of our respondents are working professional in non-financial related field. So overall, our financial planning, most of them, which occupies 53.81%, are yes, they adopt AI for their financial planning rather than no, who is 46.19%. So overall, our percentage, when you add it up, when you total up all the percentage together, we will get a 100%, which means all of our respondents, they answer each and every questions one by one. And here is our correlation analysis for demographic profiles. So we can see that the p-value for each variables to our dependent variables, such as age, gender, income, education, and occupations, their p-value is lower than 0.05, which is significant. And also their correlations value is higher than 0.7, which we can denote that they are highly correlated, except the gender, which is 0.07. So we can say it is low correlation with our dependent variable. And move to the next analysis is our 4-model analysis. So for the first one, linear probability model, we can see that age, income, education, and occupations, 4 variables, they are significant from 0.1% to 0.01% significance. How far? And for the logic qualitative response model, we can see that only educations and occupations are significant at 0.1 and 0.01%, and also followed by binary probit and also Tobin's probit model. Yes, so we can see among all models, all 4 models, educations and occupations are the most significant and important variables to explain our model. This is aligned also with our research objective 1 and 2, which is to identify which are the key demographic factors to influence Malaysia's individuals' intentions to engage AI financial planners, and also to estimate the moderating effects of demographic factors and Malaysian individuals' intention to engage AI-driven financial planners. And followed by that is our residual diagnostic test. So for this study, we adopt 3 residual diagnostic tests, which is normality test, heteroscedasticity test, and multicollinearity test. So for the normality test, we can see that our Jacob-Berra value is 5.82 with a probability value of higher than 0.05. So we do not reject H0, and we can claim that these residuals are normally distributed. All of our data are normally distributed. And for our second test, which is heteroscedasticity test, we adopt ARCH test today, and we got a F statistics of 0.93 with a p-value of 0.33, which is higher than 0.05. So we do not reject our null hypothesis, and we can claim that the residuals have no heteroscedasticity issue. So it means there is no variance among the error term. And for the multicollinearity test, we can see that the center VIF values, all of them align between 1 to 5. So we can say that the residuals have no multicollinearity issues, which means all the variables, they are not inter-multicollinearity. And followed by that, here is our data model evaluations. So among the 4 models, we can see that the model with the highest McFadden R-square is Tobit, followed by the lowest root mean square error IMSE is LPM. But the rest, mean absolute error MAE, tells you arcade info criterion AIC and squads criterion SIC. 4 of them are lie in probit with the lowest criteria. So we can claim that probit is the best model to evaluate our study. And this is aligned with our objective 3, which is to identify which is the best econometric models among the 4 econometric models. And here is our chapter 5 conclusion. So overall, our study have a theoretical contributions to the rest, which is we integrate the behavioral acceptance theory with econometric practice. So we bridge the 3 values I mentioned just now, TM, TPB, and UTAR, to connect with the econometric model comparisons such as LPM, logit, probit, and torbit, and we show how psychological construct maps to probability will estimate depending on model choice. And followed by the second one is the refinement of the demographic moderation effect, which we extend the unified theory of acceptance and also the use of technology UTAR by moving beyond treating the demographic as a mere control variables. So lastly, we confirms that educations and occupations is the most significant demographic predictor for AI financial planner engagements, which is higher than the age and income. And moving on to the practical contributions. Firstly, our study will contribute for the financial institutions and fintech developers. We identified the key demographic moderators such as educations and occupations are the most significant variables, and they are able to use this data to target the product design and marketing strategies. And the second one, for policymakers and regulators. So our study can contribute to them to set the laws and regulations to protect those who are vulnerable into scams or maybe who easily be treated into the trap of high debt. All right. And for the third one, non-government organizations, which is our study will provide an empirical evidence on demographic disparities in AI adoptions, which will guide the development of tailored education interventions. So in simple words, they will be able to have some campaigns, have some training programs to target those who are vulnerable to scam, who are easily be trapped into high debt. For instance, women, older adults, or even lower income households. And here is the table of our specific objective and which is supported or rejected. So the first one, our study aims to identify which are the key demographic factors to influence AI adoptions. So it is supported and we prove that the educations and occupations are the most important and significant to adopt, to influence the engagement of AI in financial planning. And the second one, which is we want to estimate the moderating effects of demographic factors, which is also supported, okay? And we found that education and occupations are significant. And for the last one, we want to know which is the best model among the 4 econometrics qualitative response regression models. And we found that the probit is the best models among all with the lowest criteria under model evaluation. And that's all for my presentations. I hope you have a great day and we will see you soon in the conference. Thank you so much.